Hey guys, thanks for stopping in to check out the video today. Now if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you probably noticed the video I posted on there a while back of what I labeled the Wisconsin Mega Bag. Alright guys, this is a Wisconsin Mega Bag. This does not happen very often. A limit over 20 pounds. I clocked it on the scale here. Look at the total, 2173. But this is what you shoot for in Wisconsin. It doesn't happen very often. It's my personal biggest limit I've ever caught in a 5 fish total, as well as I have my personal biggest bass that just completely shattered what my old record was. And I've been fishing for a long time. Unfortunately, I didn't have the camera rolling that day. I didn't have it even in the boat. I had it in my vehicle back at the boat ramp. There was a reason for that, which we'll get into in a little bit, but because I didn't record it, I kind of wanted to tell you guys the story of everything that went on that day and what led up to what I quoted what was the Mega Bag. So normally when I go out fishing, most of the time, I end up bringing my GoPro with, I record what I do, you know, in case something cool happens, whether I'm actually trying to make a video or not. But the thing is, I had actually taken my aunt out. It was Labor Day, and it was her birthday. She doesn't get out a whole lot, or doesn't get the opportunity to get out in the water a whole lot. We had a lake that I've been fishing that was absolutely on fire as far as numbers goes. We were catching some good, solid, quality fish out of it too. But you know, like one of the days I was out there, pulled up on a spot with my dad, and in about 40 minutes we caught 20-some fish off of just one little piece of structure. So it was like I said, it was a really hot lake at that time, and having the opportunity to get her out on her birthday and catch some fish, I thought it'd be great. We'll get the ones out of the way that you aren't very concerned about. Those are the little guys. Nice fish, awesome tournament fish, anytime you can catch them. So the plan in my head going over there was to kind of stick to the offshore structure. Like I said, that's where a lot of the fish were really grouped up. Had some pretty big schools out there. And in the promise of hopefully getting my aunt on some decent quality fish, just kind of sweeten the deal. That's what I wanted to do. And I was concerned with getting her some fish to, you know, be able to catch and stuff too, because, you know, she doesn't have her own boat or anything. She doesn't have a lot of opportunities to get out. So to be able to get her out there on her birthday and get it into some good fish is what I was really hoping for. Well, we pull up on the first spot and it's completely dead, which it's kind of a hit or miss one. A lot of times you catch a couple smaller ones there, but okay, well, whatever. Move on to the next one. My aunt caught a sunfish on a crankbait. It actually hit, the hook was in the sunfish's mouth. Freakish catch, but she's done that a couple times now. But that was kind of out in the middle of nowhere as we're working up to this long extended point. And we get towards the end of it. And, you know, I'm kind of giving her instructions on where she should cast to kind of line up with where this point kind of tapers off, and there's a little kind of hump on the end of it. And all of a sudden I crack into one while I'm kind of coaching her on what to do. And that one went a little over 3 pounds. So it's like, well, that's a pretty good start. I put it in the live well just thinking, I know once you start a school, a lot of times, or you start getting them going, they don't necessarily stay going for a really long time. So into the live well it went. I'll take the picture later, whatever. Maybe 10 casts later, wham, hooked into another one. That one went a little over 4 pounds. Like, this is off to a pretty good start. My aunt, after the sunfish, everything kind of died for her, but you know, we're still casting. I'm still coaching around where to go. We continue to kind of hop spots a little bit, and we pull up on this little hump that I've fished plenty of times before, and this year seemed to have a lot of fish on it. Not necessarily real big ones, but just a lot of fish. So we get there, we switch baits for her, have her throw a drop shot, and she caught one almost right away with that. And her fish was pretty nice. It was like 16.5 or so, and like 2 1/4, somewhere in there. It was healthy fish for the size and everything. She was thrilled with it. But we stay fishing on that spot for a little while. Everything kind of dies off for her. And I kind of just kept going with the crankbait for a while. And all of a sudden, wham, we got another really good hit. got that one into the boat. It's almost 5 pound largemouth. The next set, a 4.5 and a 480 something, almost 5 pounder. That's a day right there. I'm wondering what kind of limit I can come up with today. If I got 12 pounds with 3 fish, that could be, you know, quite the day if I catch some more like that. Well, we end up fishing around a little bit more, nothing going, you know, kind of died out after that. And we end up fishing shallow, just trying to get some bites. I caught a little dinky one. My aunt caught another one about 2 1/4. And, you know, up here, that's a very respectable fish. So I was happy for her that she got some fish, but it's like, where are the numbers at? I don't even know. You know, it was just one of those days where you're not catching a lot of fish. It seemed like it should be good conditions for it, but for whatever reason, we just weren't on a huge number of fish that day. So after she catches her second one, it's like, well, let's go try another offshore, you know, structure spot. And we ended up, we were gonna go over to this little hump that I know about. It's got some timber on top of it, and there's a pontoon sitting right next to it, and off to the side there's a boat anchored there crappie fishing. Like, okay, well, we found that out after we pulled up kind of close to it, but there's a shoreline next to it that drops off kind of deep. There's another point that comes out off of that, so okay, we'll slide over and fish that. Well, as we're pulling up to that, this pontoon ends up just leaving. Okay, well, we fished it quick, fished down to this little hump that I was talking about. We're going again. I'm coaching her angles to throw, had her switch back to the crankbait, and you know, still hadn't got anything yet. About my 3rd or 4th cast on it, boom, I caught a 2 1/4 or 2 1/2. It was 2 1/2. In my head, it's kind of like, you know, I've got 4 fish right now, and I really want to catch a 5th one just to see where I end up weight-wise. So we decided to stay on this hump for a little bit longer, and you know, I end up rifling a few more casts out there. It's probably 10 casts later or so, and every other fish that I've had hit so far during the day has just absolutely hammered it. Like, you know, as soon as it hits, okay, this is a good one, it's on, all right. Even the smallest one that I caught, that 2 1/4, that felt pretty decent when it hit. This hit completely opposite of everything I felt that day. It wasn't this big, you know, stretch your line out, rod loads up. It was just kind of, I don't know if it was swimming at me or what, but it hits, I set the hook, and there's like no resistance there. You feel a little bit of a head shake, like a pretty small bass. And you know, it's just like, okay, whatever, start reeling it in. And all of a sudden you see the line start coming up, and it's like, okay, it's gonna come up and jump. Well, like I said, being that this was the exact opposite, and I'm thinking it's a small fish, imagine my surprise when all of a sudden this giant mouth comes up, whole body almost comes up out of the water, and this thing is huge. You know, especially for up here in Wisconsin. And I start freaking out inside because holy cow, what have I hooked into here? And my aunt, she was not quite so much internalized freaking out. She was more of an external one. She's in the back of the boat here, just freaking out, screaming, hooping and hollering, almost making me more nervous than anything. But the fish all of a sudden just started pulling like a freight train when I got back in the water. And the fight was on after that. This thing zigzagged back and forth. At one point tried shooting back, going under and wrapping in my motor. It came back, went to, you know, I was trying to work it around the trolling motor. It actually shot straight underneath the boat, so I had to dive the rod tip in the water and scoop it around the trolling motor. All this while the boat that was anchored there crappie fishing, they're still there watching this whole thing go down. Like I said, my aunt's in the back of the boat freaking out, and I'm just like, you know, I'm trying to be focused, but at the same time, internally my heart's just pounding. And got it in the net. And when I pulled it up into the boat, it was just like sunk in what had just happened. But then you have the absolute hog in here. Might take me a second to get her out. A 7.34. That is a stud right there. my personal best by almost a full pound. Just huge. Overall lengthwise, this fish was not one of those super long, lean fish or anything like that. It was 22.5 inches long. My previous best was 21.5, so only an inch longer. But this fish was freakish the way it was built. The head was just ginormous. I think I got a picture of it coming out of a live well, and the mouth opened up, almost takes up a whole side of my divided live well. I mean, it was thick all the way down through into the tail. And laying on the deck, like I said, it's kind of sinking in just how big this fish was. My whole body is just kind of weak at this point, almost like people get with buck fever. I got it with fish. it was quite the experience. Overall, numbers wise that day, was not good. I ended up with 2. I caught 7 bass. 5 of them were keepers. And the total limit was 21.73 pounds. My smallest fish was, like I said, 2.5, which isn't that small by any means. It's a really nice fish, but there's plenty of fish in that lake that would be heavier than that I could have had a chance to catch possibly. So it would have been possible to even get a bigger limit that day. But you know, almost 22 pounds with 5 fish for northern Wisconsin, that's quite the day. Now, all 5 of my keeper largemouth I caught on the same bait, same rod, same everything. And that is right here. The bait is a Lucky Craft LC Silent 3.5 DD in TO shad. I had that on 10-pound test, Berkley big game line. I was throwing it on a St. Croix Premier 7-foot medium heavy moderate action rod with a Abu Garcia Revo inshore. This is a 7.1-to-1 retrieve, which I know a lot of you guys think is fast for crankbaits, but I really like it. I also use this rod for topwater, and it does a great job for both. But every one of those fish came on this bait. This bait is actually retired from my collection now. I put it back on the rod just to show you guys. But I am going to get a fiberglass reproduction of my fish at some point, and this bait is going to go in the mouth. Like I said, it was a very interesting day. I wish I would have got it on camera, but you know, that's just kind of how things go. I was just happy that I did have it back at the landing, so I could go back, film, you know, my limit of fish that I had, and then release them all, because all 5 of those fish did go back, and they all swam off great. Once I had the 5th fish in there, my aerator stayed on manual the entire time. Not that the fish was in there that long, but we had to go get pictures of it and everything. So yeah, it was a very interesting experience. It was an awesome day on the water. It was one of those days, even though you didn't catch the numbers, obviously the size made it worth it. And it's a day that I know both me and my aunt will remember for the rest of our lives, because she was almost as excited as I was about catching the big one. You know, she hadn't seen a fish that big before, so it was just a very cool experience. I'm glad I got to share it with her. I wish she could have caught a few more fish that day, but like I said, in the end we were all happy about it, and like, it was just one of those days that, like I said, I was glad to be able to share the experience. So there's one other part to this day that it's a little bit comical. A long time ago, I was fishing with a buddy and I brought these blue gummy sharks, these little guys, and somehow it got going between us that these were good luck for our fishing for whatever reason. I think he just liked the gummy sharks and wanted me to bring them the next time we fished. I like them too, so I didn't mind. But that had been like an ongoing joke for a really long time. And when I took my aunt out, we were idling out from the landing, and I had brought some with that day. And I kind of filled her in on, you know, they're the good luck charm. She doesn't like gummy candy all that much, so she agreed to eat one, but she only ate half of it. Meanwhile, I put a couple in my mouth, we idled off, ended up stopping to fish. When I caught the first 2, I had 2 gummy sharks. she caught the sunfish. She had half a gummy shark. I was giving her a hard time that the only reason I caught the 2 fish was because of the gummy shark, so okay, fine. So she ate the other half. Well, she did. We pull up on the next spot, and boom, she caught a fish. So I was giving her a hard time that, yeah, it has to be the gummy fish. Well, she ate a second one. She caught a second keeper. I think I probably ate a little bit more than 7 of them that day, but, you know, looking back, was it just a great day, or was it the gummy sharks? I guess we'll never know. Make sure you guys let me know if you like this video. Obviously, it's not as good as if I would have had the GoPro running where you could see everything, you know, that happened that day. But I think it does it a little bit more justice than just seeing what I caught. Also, guys, don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, God bless and good luck on the water.